No Canada, page 61, Chapter 6, Elections in Canada. Canadians vote for people to represent them in the Parliament and in the legislatures and in municipal governments. By law, the federal government must hold an election every 4 years. It can be sooner than that, but it cannot be any longer. Federal elections are held on the third Monday in October, 4 years after the last election. Canada is divided into electoral districts. Electoral districts are geographical areas that are represented by one member of Parliament. They are also called ridings or constituencies. The elected representatives represent all the people in their constituency, not just the people who voted for them. They are also supposed to do what is best for all Canadians. There are 338 federal ridings in Canada, so there are 338 elected MPs. This number changes when the population of Canada grows and new electoral districts are added. Candidates are the people who are running to be elected. A candidate must be a Canadian citizen, and he or she must be 18 years or older. Usually, there is more than one candidate running in each electoral district. People in each district vote for the candidate they like or for the political party they like. Voters should pay attention to what the person and her party think is important, the issues, before they make their decision. The person with the most votes becomes the member of Parliament for his or her electoral district. Members of the legislative assemblies in the provinces are also elected this way. Provincial electoral districts and the candidates are different, but the process is the same. Voting. The right to vote is a privilege for Canadian citizens. In order to vote, you must be a Canadian citizen, this says 18 or older. It has now changed to 16 or older. And be on the voters list. The names on the voters list come from the National Register of Electors, produced by Elections Canada. If you were born in Canada, your name should automatically be on the voters list. When you become a citizen, your name should be added, unless you don't want it to be. A federal election is called, and an election date is set. Elections Canada then mails out cards to everyone on the voters list. It tells you when and where you can vote. If you don't get a voter information card, you can call Elections Canada to make sure you are on the list. If you are not on the list, your name can be added at the polling station, as long as you have proof of citizenship. The place where you vote is called the polling station. There are also advance polls where you can vote before Election Day. The voter information card will tell you where and when to vote. It also gives you a phone number to call if you need help. On Election Day, you go to the polling station. You must bring the voter information card and proof of your identity and address. An election official will give you a ballot where you mark your choice and explain how to fold it. You go behind a screen or someplace private to mark your ballot. You mark an X next to the person you choose. Then you fold the ballot and give it back to an election official. The official will tear off the piece that has the ballot number on it and give you back the ballot. You put your ballot into the box yourself. After the polls close, the election officials count all the ballots, and the results are made public. No one can tell you how to vote. It is your own decision. Someone may give you advice, but it is always your choice. Voting is by secret ballot. No one can watch you vote, and no one can see how you voted. Your ballot does not have your name on it. After you have voted, you do not have to tell anyone who you voted for, unless you want to. After an election, the Governor General asks the leader of the party that got the most votes to form the government. The leader of that party is now the Prime Minister, and his or her party is in power. They will run the government as long as they have the support of most of the MPs, the confidence of the House, or until their 4-year term is up. Most of the time, members of Parliament vote the way their party wants them to vote. However, there are votes about important things, like the budget, which are called confidence votes. If the majority of the MPs in Parliament vote against the bill, the government has lost the confidence of the House, and it is defeated. The Prime Minister then asked the Governor General to call an election. The Prime Minister could do it himself, but it is a tradition that the Governor General forms the government and dissolves it. There are more than 2 political parties in Canada. Right now, there are 3 major political parties: the Liberals, the Conservatives, and the New Democratic Party, or NDP. There are also smaller parties like the Green Party and the Bloc Québécois. A majority government is when the party in power has at least half of the seats, the MPs. That's why it's hard to defeat a majority government. A minority government is when the party in power holds less than half the seats. Members of 2 or more different parties may work together to form a majority. It is much easier to defeat the government, the party in power, when there is a minority government. The parties that are not in power are called opposition parties. The opposition party with the most representatives is the official opposition. Their job is to oppose and try to improve government proposals in a peaceful way. A fun fact: in the House of Commons, there are seats on both sides of a center aisle, facing each other. The aisle is wide enough that if 2 swords were held out, they couldn't touch. The opposition parties sit on the opposite side of the aisle from the party in power. Parties are not supposed to cross the aisle, so they don't get into physical fights. How much do you know about your government? There is an excellent exercise on page 34 of Discover Canada. You should take the time to do it because you may need to know some of this information for the citizenship test. We will complete this exercise in our next citizenship class. We'll do it together.